Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video on the channel. My name is Dan and or xTwoShoes, and today we're going to be talking about why your Twitch bio or your about section is so important and should not be overlooked. And you're also very welcome to my new, very loud, very echoey stream room. I do apologize for the audio in this episode. There's literally nothing in this room other than a desk and a PC and some acoustic foam. And until I get curtains and carpet and stuff on the roof and all these things that help with sound, you're going to be stuck with an echo. So please be patient with me, and hopefully this room will start looking amazing very soon. And before we get into today's video, everybody, I'd love to tell you about the wonderful, amazing sponsors of today's video, Owned Pro. Owned Pro is an amazing plugin for OBS that lets you control everything you're going to need in your streams in one little plugin. Through Owned Pro, you can change things like your alerts, your cam border, transitions, add royalty-free music to your stream, and manage everything all without ever having to leave OBS. It's super easy to set up, and it's also super affordable and allows you to do so much with your stream on the fly. I love using Own Pro because it keeps streaming simple for me. I hate sometimes when I have to figure out what browser source is what and swap and change things, and it just gets messy and I get annoyed and it affects me when I'm live. So using Own Pro, I can avoid all that. If you want to check out Own Pro for yourself and all the amazing things it offers, all you gotta do is check out the link below this video, and you can also use code xTwoShoes for a 50% discount on the product. Yes, you heard that correctly. 50% off. Definitely give it a try if it's something you think you'd be interested in, and a huge thanks again to Own Pro for continually supporting us here on the channel and sponsoring today's video. Now, without further ado, about sections, Twitch bios, let's talk about it. Okay, so one thing I think about sections is people don't tend to think that they're important. When you're a streamer and you're starting your Twitch channel, you just want to get straight into streaming. You don't want to take the time to fill out everything and write all this text, and you're just kind of think to yourself, I'll do that another time. Nobody cares. I just want to get live and get streaming and get followers. And now it's 6 months later and you still have the same bio that says, "What up, bro? Welcome to my stream." Incorrect. Don't do that. On the channel here, we do stream reviews all the time. And one of the first things I do when I go to somebody's channel who sent me a link to it is I look at their about section. I don't want to wait for a video to load. I don't want to scrub through a VOD. I want to go and get the very basic impression of that streamer from their bio. You can tell a lot about somebody from that little wall of text, from what kind of panels they have, what extensions they use. You can really get an idea, more than you would think, of that streamer from this section. And other content creators who I've watched do stream reviews, every time they go to somebody's channel, they do the exact same thing. You want to fill it out, you want to flesh it out, make it as good and clean and nice as possible. But there's a couple of things we got to go over before we can tell you how to do that. I'm going to split these into a couple of categories. First, I'm going to tell you what not to have. Then I'm going to tell you some things you should absolutely have. And then towards the end of today's video, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to write or how to construct your about section or your bio correctly. So make sure you watch to the end of the video because you might be surprised about some of the things you'll learn here. All right, first things first, what not to have. Number one, don't have 100 extensions. You'll see bit alert menus and leaderboards and countdown timers and all these things. Don't litter your streams with widgets and, extensions. 90% of streamers on Twitch use these things, and they're not really something that, grab somebody's attention straight away. So if you're looking at your bio right now and you're seeing more extensions that are inbuilt as opposed to actual content that you've written, consider changing that. You don't want that balance to be mainly extensions, one or two things written about yourself. When you're adding your panels, don't have them scattered everywhere. Align them correctly. Now, I know this is annoying and it takes time because it's not the most responsive thing in the world to align everything and make it nice and, together, because different sections will have different amount of text. It's not all going to be even, but do your best to make it symmetrical and aligned and visually appealing. This is one of my biggest pet peeves whenever I go on somebody's channel and there's like, the about me is here and the gear is down here and the rules are down here and the social links are up here. Try align things together so you have things like about me, rules, socials, all these things together, and then maybe your extensions down the bottom somewhere here. Trust me, when things are aligned like that, it's much more visually appealing to the person's eye who's looking at your channel. Another thing you should not have is massive walls of text. If you're writing your about section, you're writing a very brief segment about you. You are not writing a thesis on nuclear physics. I don't need to know your earliest childhood memory. It doesn't make for a good bio because not many people will read that much information. Unfortunately, the internet has now corrupted our minds and we have terrible attention spans. People will just read the first 2 lines of it, or else they'll look at a giant wall of text and be like, TLDR, no way. You do not want to have outdated info. Oh God. I'm drinking this energy drink right now and it is doing something to me. Woo, 0 sugar, my ass. Don't include too many panels that are all monetary based. If the majority of your things on your about section are to do with money, reconsider that in my opinion. So you might have a dono button, completely fine. You might have also a link to subscribe to you, again, completely fine. But if you have a dono button, links to subscribe to you, merch, bit menus, cheer bit button, crypto donate button, credit card donate button, all your top donors of all time, and random various affiliate codes for all these different things that you might be partnered with, just comes across as a little bit beggy in my opinion. I've come to your about section and 99% of it is taken up with things that you just want to be paid for, which, look, I get it. It's a job for some people, right? If everyone wants to earn a little bit of money on Twitch, it's completely normal. That's fine. But what I'm saying is if that's the main bulk of your about section, it could come across the wrong way to some people. So reconsider that. One thing you also do not want to have is outdated information. Make sure you keep your bios up to date. Now, I am so guilty of this. I'm pretty sure my bio still says I have a PO box. I don't have a PO box. If you're doing things like including what games you're playing or currently playing or have completed, make sure you update those to reflect what it's actually like on your stream. Similarly, if it says, like me, you live in Ireland, but you no longer live in Ireland, make sure you update that and change it. This is serving as a reminder for me to go and change my panels. If you're adding something that will change, make sure you're keeping it current. Now that we've covered some things that you shouldn't have, let's talk about some things that you absolutely should have, in my opinion. Okay, this might sound like a bit of a no-brainer, but clear, concise information. Now, what do I mean by that? You want to make everything easily understandable for every single person who's going to read it. And I've mentioned something similar to this in a previous video, and I'll get like, welcome to the ice cream gang. And it's something very unique to the channel and maybe an inside joke with that community. That's something that does not belong in your Twitch bio. What you're saying in your channel bio can't be understood by someone who's never watched you before. It's incorrect and it has to change. You want to make it as accessible and clear and, easily understood by any single person who's going to read it, be them an existing community member or be them a brand new person who's found your channel randomly. And what I mean by concise is like that. Don't have these huge walls of text. You don't need to have hundreds of words about, what you're going to be using your donos for, or a really long Q&A section. You don't need that. You can include all those things for sure, but you don't need to write hundreds of characters on them. Keep it clear, keep it concise, and keep it informative to the viewer. One thing that you should all have in your bios without fail is a means to contact you. And that doesn't mean have your Twitter or Instagram linked up above. It means have an email address specifically for your streamer content that prospective sponsors or partners can contact you on. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I only get 3 or 4 viewers. Nobody's going to contact me for sponsors. How do you know that? Brands do crazy things all the time. Don't count it out. I've talked to partnership managers in the industry and they've said the amount of people that they just have not given deals to because they had no way to contact them. I did my first sponsored stream when I had about 15 or 20 viewers. So you never know who will contact you. And it was a great time. It was for a pretty big game and I had a great time doing it. All right, your bio. When you're writing your bio, you should really consider having an about me section in your about section, right? I see a lot of streamers who just skip this step because they're like, oh, I don't like writing about myself, or like if somebody asks me the question when I'm live, I can just answer it. It's really important, in my opinion, to put some amount of information about you. Your name, or what your chat should call you, where you're from if you're comfortable saying it, a little about what you plan on doing on Twitch, why you're a streamer. These are all really good things that you should say. I'm going to show some really good examples of about sections at the end of this video as well, if you guys are interested in seeing what I think works here. But like that, something that gives the prospective viewer information about you, no matter how big or small, at least they now know. And lastly, alignment. I mentioned this in the what not to have section, but align your panels. Please take the time to just drag and drop, move things around, redesign your panels if you need to. If you don't know how to do it yourself, today's sponsor Owned, they have things like panels on their website. You might be able to find a designer friend to do it for you if you find things aren't fitting, but try and make it look as clean and compact and nicely aligned as possible. It will seriously help people actually spend time at this section if it's easy for them to look at and easy for them to navigate. If I was going to donate to a streamer and I went to their about section and it took me longer than 2 seconds to find their donate button because it was plastered around at all these random misaligned panels, I'd probably just give up. So think about aligning it. All right, what I'm going to do now is show you guys some cool examples of streamers that I think have done really good about sections, really well designed and all that kind of thing. So let's head on over to Twitch and we can have a look at some cool people. This is a buddy of mine called xTwoShoes, and I really love what he's done with his about section. This is really cool. I came across this before when I was doing a stream review and he actually asked for one and I ended up doing one for him, and his about section really caught my eye. Look how nice this looks. It's so well organized. It's like different pictures. It looks really clean. He's got his subscribe, watch him on YouTube, follow him on Twitter. You know, this idea is really, really, really cool. He's got a contact here. You know, he's got his top cheerers and top chatters here. Very cool. And this is really clear as well. It says, hello, if you're reading this, I wanted to thank you for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Please feel free to chat to me, lurk. I tried to make a very welcoming and positive space for my guests. Thank you again. Take care. Rip and tear. I would love to have seen maybe like one of these little text walls up here and like an about section, then followed by everything. But just the layout of this is top tier. This is DB Geek's channel. A lot of you might remember DB Geek from our Twitch do's and don'ts video. If you missed that video, it's below me. It's below me. That's where it is. It's right down here. Click on it. It's a great watch. DB is a Twitch partner. He's got 83,000 followers. He's a great guy. He puts so much work into his stream. Like you can see here that it's Christmas time currently at the recording of this video, and he's done like Christmas themed panels and all these things. It's mostly aligned. It looks good. He's got his about session that shows off, you know, that he's a YouTube creator and that he's moved to Twitch, do all these things here. It gives us an insight who he is. He's got his schedule, his socials. He ran a charity event called Geekmas that he has some information about here. So this is back to what I'm talking about keeping things current, you know, like valuable information to go here. All the vital things we need to know are here. What DB is really, really, really good at here is keeping it current and like, you know, moving with the times. As I said, it's Christmas. He's got all the right information. It looks Christmassy. This is really, really good. Top tier. Awesome job. To wrap up this video, we're going to talk about some tips to help you guys maybe to write about yourselves or to flesh out this section a little bit more. If you're somebody who struggles to write, or if you're somebody who struggles to write in a condensed manner like me, I just tend to type and type and type, write it out in a Google Doc first. Take a Google Doc or a notepad or something and write out everything in that first. Don't try to be short, just write everything out as much as you can. Once you've done it, go through it or give it to a friend and get them to read it and let you know what they feel maybe can go, or maybe doesn't need to be included, or could be condensed a little bit more. This will let you hammer out little chunks that maybe don't need to be there. Go through streamers you like and find their bios. Read their bio. See what information that they include. Now don't copy it word for word. You're your own person and you have your own story to tell, but see what type of information they include and maybe take a little bit of inspiration from that. When you're doing this, when you're reading other streamers' bios or other people's bios, if at any point you get bored, note that. Take a note of what point you got bored at. End your Twitch bio there. Even if it's somebody that you really like or a creator that you just came across that looks really great and cool, if you're reading their stuff and at some point you just kind of like, I'm gonna skip over here and see who their top donor is, then they've written too much and you now know you don't need to write that much. Also, think outside the box as well. It is completely customizable. Just because other streamers have about sections, dono buttons, and their specs and rules, you could put something completely random there. You could put a treasure hunt there for somebody to find out a hidden thing in your stream. You could put whatever you want. You could come up with something super original and cool that maybe no one's done before. Just because everyone has done this in a certain way does not mean you have to do it in a certain way. But everybody, that's going to do it for me today. I made this video because a lot of you guys actually requested it. After I did my last stream reviews, you guys were asking about, you know, a whole video on bios and stuff like that and about sections. So I hope this answered a lot of your questions. If you have any more questions that I didn't answer, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm not sure when this video is coming out, if it's going to be the last video before Christmas or if it's come out just after Christmas, but two things. One, if it comes out before Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful, safe and happy Christmas if you are celebrating Christmas. And if it's coming out after Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful, safe and happy Christmas if you celebrated it. Coming towards the final days of 2021, and you know, as much of a crazy year as it's been, I've just want to thank you all for watching this channel and, you know, growing with me and being a part of this wonderful community. And I can't wait to continue on into 2022. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great week on your content. I hope you get lots of rest over the holidays, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.